Approaching the computing curriculum, when you get to the year 5, year 6 level of it, the expectation of what needs to be covered is a lot higher, and I think it's where a lot of teachers start struggling when it gets into ideas of, for example, understanding variables, understanding conditionals in terms of if, else, and in terms of functions as well, and making sure you've got an algorithm which has multiple clear sections in it. And I saw in the Picoh project the opportunity to really go into that in depth in a way that maybe other available robotics does not offer you that opportunity. I found that because of the missing skills in their progression over the several years, and I've often found that getting children to the level of teaching variables to a high level or teaching, conditional thinking to a high level has been very difficult. But using something like this has been a really good way to get there. Well, with support with Strictly Education 3BM and some of the consultants there, we've been working on scheme of work based on the interest of the children while we watch them experience the robots and tinker with them.
The idea was always to try and do some sort of personal assistant, some sort of Alexa or Siri, because it seems to be quite relevant today. Children have that innate understanding of, oh, there's these things we can talk to.
What we noticed was it was the voice recognition and the idea that the robots could speak back, sort of text-to-speech was available in there as part of the code that you could add in addition to Scratch as an extension. So their excitement of that was that they'd look around and say, oh, it's just like Siri, or it's just like, okay, Google, we can use this in this way. And we saw that opportunity in how they saw the robot, and we thought we'd work on that and sort of figured out a project within that context where we could really focus on a planned out project with the robots of clear end goals in terms of creating a personal assistant from this Picoh, trying to replicate the kind of algorithms that go into something like Siri or another voice recognition software and personal assistant, and using that in order to teach variables and to teach if-else functions and algorithms in there, as well as giving separate functions in their programs in order to make it work, which was really exciting because a lot of that came from the children, and we saw that opportunity sort of came up quite organically based on the children's reaction and seeing what the children were really interested in and making sure they would get engaged and can link why programming is so important in order to create something they use every day or find so interesting and so useful in their life every day, and really break that down and decompose the steps that go into that.
It also linked really interestingly to some ideas of machine learning, which is something that tangentially was quite an interesting topic to start thinking about.